YouTuber, well, that user on YouTube, about putting the car into auto and then manual, leaving it in drive rather than sports gearing. And you get crazy noises. That is significantly louder than normal. It looks like the important settings, the engine / trans, if you have that in auto, and then the engine sound in dynamic, it's very loud all the time. That's really cool. This car's ridiculously good. Like, most cars, well, actually I'd say probably all cars, oh wow, that is a great tip. That sounds amazing. One of my biggest concerns about this car is that it actually might be too good, insofar as when I come to sell this car, what am I going to buy that fits my requirements? Obviously there's a lot of cars out there that cost a lot more money, and you know, they have more power and they've got more of this and that or whatever. But for my requirements, this person's not letting me in. Why? Okay, you just let me in. For my requirements, this is pretty much the best car you can buy. So the things that I need, at the moment I need a car with 4 doors, I have a son. I want it to be small, so it's nippy and easy to drive around the city. Now when I say the city, I mean Brisbane, which is not exactly a tight city. It's not Paris or anything like that. So it doesn't need to be microscopic. But small and nimble is something that I like. I want it to be reasonably quick. I'm not really concerned about outright performance. I have taken this car to the drag strip a couple of times, but that's just, I guess, a mild interest. It's not a, I wouldn't call it a hobby or anything that I value super highly. Straight line performance is interesting, but it's, again, it's not really, not something that really does it for me. The big things that I love about this car are how versatile it is. It's, you know, it's 4 doors, 5 seats. It's comfortable, extremely comfortable actually. But also, when you put in all the modes into dynamic, it's reasonably sporty. It holds up surprisingly well against my 86, which is, you know, a renowned handling sports car. And it makes ridiculously nice noises, which is huge for me. The question is, what do I go for after this? I don't really like the RS4 as a comparison because it's a bit too big for me. I do like it, but I don't want to daily that. I'm considering trying out just the competition, I guess, just giving an A45 a go, just to see how it is. I like the idea of just trying different cars and experiencing them. I mean, I'm fairly confident that it won't be as nice as this. There are definitely some pros to the A45. For example, the seats are amazing. And it does handle very nippily, but apparently the RS3 now outhandles it. So, yeah. Realistically, I'm probably going to be looking at something that's not 4 doors. So like an older supercar, maybe an old R8 or an like a 360, something like that has that noise and excitement, and maybe some looks, some more interesting looks as well. Now the obvious answer to that question is just keep the car, keep the RS3. And I actually really want to. I do want to keep this car, or what I probably actually want is to get another car that's a bit more interesting. Well, I don't know if interesting is the right word, but different. And then keep the RS3 as a daily. But I'm not sure if that's financially feasible for me at the moment. So I'm a bit interested to see what other people think, what car or cars I should get that fit my requirements. Fairly fast, preferably something that looks a bit more sporty and a bit more interesting. Sounds amazing. I'm after something that has the best sound you can get, pretty much. And 4 seats, but they don't have to be in the same car. I've got some ideas myself, but I'm not letting on about them just yet. So I was recently watching Supercars of London and Beagle versions have a chat as they drove around in the rear-wheel drive R8. And as part of that, I was looking at the interior of the R8 and thinking, gee, that looks quite a lot like an RS3 interior. The steering wheel looks very, very similar, just slight differences with things like the start-stop button and the mode button, which are nice, but they're not drastically different. It's also very likely the same speed in a straight line, which is not everything, of course. And in terms of handling, I'm sure it would probably feel a bit better, but we're not talking. I don't think you would be talking, you know, $200,000 difference in the handling feel. It does look a hell of a lot better, of course, but again, there are just little things about it that I think would remind me substantially of an RS3. Everyone complains in the R8 about the paddle shifters, that they feel plasticky and small, and they're pretty much identical to the ones on the RS3. So from a driver's perspective, I'd say the experience would be very similar until you obviously get on it and go flogging around some corners and stuff like that. But I'd say that your day-to-day normal driving around the city sort of thing is going to feel very similar, and that's not an amazing thing. If I was going to get a supercar or something special, I'd want it to feel special every time I was in it. And so the problem I have is, after having this car, the RS3, everything else is kind of not as special anymore because this is just so good. And that's a bit of a stupid problem to have, obviously. It's a bit of a first world problem, but it is a problem. So in terms of finances, I bought this car for around about $95,000. It's on a 5-year loan with a big loany thing at the end. With a balloon. One thing that's happened recently in Australia is that you can no longer get an RS3 brand new from Audi. They're not listed on the site, they're not available. There's some sort of legal or process reason for it, but yeah, you can't actually buy them anymore. So what that's doing is actually pushing the price of second-hand cars up, which is really good for me. And what that means is my car is probably worth almost exactly what I want it right now. So if I were to sell it today, I'd very likely come away clean, $0 difference. So what that means is, if I'm looking to upgrade or trade in or change around anything in the future, it gives me pretty good power to buy one or maybe even 2 cars whose total cost is very similar to an RS3. So it's got me thinking about options I could pick from. There's a new model of Toyota that's coming out shortly as well that has got me a little bit interested. I was very interested when the prototype landed. Then I was less interested when the real version was teased or shown in camo. But now that we're getting some reviews from people driving it on the track, it sounds pretty good. But I don't know. It is a Toyota, and I'm expecting it to be sort of $70,000, $80,000. That's a lot of money for a Toyota.